Hey everybody. So we did have a few people show up for one of our first in-face meetings. I know we kind of did a brief at the Christmas party, but that was really more of a Christmas party than an FRG meeting. So because we had a lot of stuff kind of coming up this summer, we wanted to have a chance to meet face to face, but we kind of had a poor execution because we put out just really last minute that we would have a face-to-face meeting. The people that were there did say that they'd really like to do a potluck, so with a little bit more interest and a little bit more time, I think we'll be able to do it. So next time, keep your eyes open, and we'll try to do a potluck and get to know some more people, especially going into the summer when the weather's a little bit nicer to do some fundraising events. But let's get going because it's going to be a pretty busy summer, and we only have a few slides, but we're going to cover a lot of material. There's no change to our mission statement. For those of you who are new, which we do have a few members that we met the other night, basically our job is captured in this mission statement, just to keep you guys ready and informed, primarily informed, which is why we do this on the YouTube, and we do that through the tenets that follow. So again, just build soldier and family cohesion and morale. Keep families ready for the time apart, reduce stress, keep focused on training for real-world missions, put out the information and make sure that you guys have access to the installation and community resources. Alright, coming into March, this is like next week now, maybe this week. Change of command this Thursday, that's on the 2nd. We've got Colonel Aaron Dixon coming in. He's a great guy. He's going to do a really great job filling the shoes of Colonel Cabin. He'll be coming in Thursday morning at 10 a.m. and then there will be a reception afterward. And pretty much after that reception, everybody's released. If you want that weekend, hit up the Wine Festival on JBLM. Just search their website and punch in the search field Wine Festival, and I'm sure something will pop up. Next weekend on the 10th, there's a hockey game. This hockey game is the Seattle Thunderbirds. That is the last time we're going to have a chance to get together with the platoon that's deploying. They're attached to the 16th Combat Aviation Brigade. They're going to go be what they call the aerial response force. So when a helicopter has to set down, they're the guys who will go out and recover the pilots in the aircraft and make sure everybody's safe and that the helicopter can get recovered back to the home station safely. From the 8th through the 11th, expect kind of longer days just by chance. The civilians who do the railhead operations here at JBLM have been getting better about it lately, but they normally do about a 1500 closeout, so 3 p.m. they stop loading trains, and then we get 1 hour to kind of sync ourselves up and make sure that we're still on track. And your soldiers will come back to the barracks here at 1700, which puts them home right around dinner time instead of any sooner. Same thing goes for the 13th through the 16th. Expect a little bit longer days, although traditionally we finish railhead operations early. This is all in preparation to go out to YTC, or the Yakima training area in eastern Washington. So starting the following week on the 21st, it should be in red, but that's really just a movement day. So we're going to, be with y'all from the 20th to the 21st, unless they're on Advon, the advanced party that goes out. But the main body goes on the 21st, and then we're going to stay out there for a little bit over a week doing crew recertifications. That just means just making sure that the driver and the gunner and the vehicle commander are all in sync and they're able to employ their heavy weapons system and their vehicle as a unified system. That takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of synchronization, so the Army doesn't consider us really deployable unless we do that once every 6 months. Really the only place we can do it is in Yakima. It's pretty difficult to do here at JBLM with all of the constraints in the other units. So bear in mind that Yakima is out in eastern Washington in kind of a barren desert. There's not a lot of cell phone connectivity, so just expect texts here and there, but don't expect constant contact. We do expect on the 30th to get bussed back for a couple of days in that weekend. We'll leave a contingent out there to guard our trucks, but that weekend there's really nothing for us to do because the National Guard will be owning YTC throughout that whole weekend. So if we're there, there's really nothing we can do. So we're going to try to send most of the guys back, and a handful will stay to guard our trucks. That'll take us into April. You can see that we go back to YTC on that Sunday. Everybody will do platoon gunnery. That's a little bit different than crew research, although I know it sounds the same. Platoon gunnery is where the platoon leader gets to practice maneuvering his sections, or his crews, if you will. Each section has a few crews in it. Basically, we're making sure that the platoon leaders are all fully capable and certified and trained to maneuver their platoons as a cohesive unit under live fire conditions and day and night. So we'll do platoon gunnery. Our troop will have 4 of these days, and obviously there's more than 4 days shown here, but that's because it kind of takes a platoon to train a platoon. So we'll spend 4 days training ourselves with the support of others, and then we'll flip-flop and we will be supporting others while they get certified. And this is also the time, because it's kind of midway through that rotation, that I'll send out a newsletter. It'll just have some pictures and some basic statistics and a couple of updates to let you all know how we're doing, let you know we haven't forgotten about you. And then when we come home in the middle of that month, from roughly the 13th through the 20th, we'll be back doing recovery. It's in that time that I would really like to do an FRG get-together, mainly because that's when your husbands will be home to babysit the kids. So no sense doing one while we're gone, because then you're paying for a babysitter and it kind of defeats the purpose. But when we get back, we'll give you a few days to hang out with your husband, and then give you a little break just before we head back out to JBLM's backyard for what we call platoon external evaluations. Rather than a live fire exercise, this is when we get to put a whole lot of stress on the platoon leaders with some very complex situations, just to see really how much they can handle. It's a totally relatively safe compared to a live fire because there's no real bullets, so it's a great environment for us to put everything we can on these guys and see what they're really capable of. Once we're complete with that, we should be coming back the evening of the 28th, and that will take you into change of command inventories. Sorry about that, totally spaced. Alright, so change of command inventories. If anybody's ever been through these before, you know that there's a ton of equipment. If you look on the Instagram page, you'll see pictures of all of the equipment that we need to account for. Whenever we come back from the field, we make sure nobody lost anything, broke anything, and stuff that is lost or broken gets replaced. But that is an incredibly meticulous process. It takes a long time to do it right, to ensure that we have all the equipment we need should we get deployed. This is on top of the recovery, where when we come back and all of our stuff is wet and dirty and gross, we need to recover it and make sure that it's all serviceable, and that also takes time. So it's 2 very time-consuming things, recovery and inventories, on top of each other, which is why I say be prepared for late days. We'll try to do another FRG meeting. Tentatively, that's going to be the potluck that we were just talking about at the beginning. So consider this your warning. Pick something good, and Rachel will blast out your expectations for whether or not you make, sides or desserts, or we'll probably cover the main dish ourselves so that nobody's got to do that. But be ready to be on tap for either your favorite side dish or favorite dish to share with people, and then drinks and sides and things like that. So we'll do that during that last weekend. That last week of recovery, and then the change of command inventories will continue for at least 1 more week until we finish the property books. These green weeks that you see, these green bars, are associated with relatively short days. So red we're gone, yellow kind of long, and green should be short days. So that's how you read this thing. Finally, the reason we're doing change of command inventories is because I'll be leaving command. So Rachel and I will be leaving the troop on May 25th. That's when I'll change command with Adam David. He'll take over as Crazyhorse 6, and that'll take you guys into Memorial Day Danza. Unfortunately, Adam is taking over for you guys when you once again lose your loved ones for the entire month of June. So like I talked about, it takes a platoon to train a platoon. Well, it also takes a brigade of about 4,000 people to train a brigade of 4,000 people. So they go out to Yakima, that same giant training area, and they train Tutu, the other striker brigade combat team, and they act as the opposing force. They act as observers and controllers and safeties and all that stuff that's required to make sure that training is safe, realistic, and certifying. If there's not a brigade from outside, then there's really no check or balance. One brigade can say, yeah, we're ready for combat, but they're really biased because they want to be ready for combat. So unless another brigade is there to say, yeah, no kidding, you looked really good, then you're not actually certified to go. So that's what this month is all about. They're going to have to go through several companies, 20 to 30 companies and troops of certifying live fires all throughout this month. So I'm sorry to say it, but they'll be out there all of June with pretty limited connectivity. Unfortunately, this is slated to go through the 4th of July weekend. I have this in a black dotted box because I really expect that at some point someone's going to say, we can get this done before the 4th of July, let's pull that back. That's dumb. So expect them to pull that back, but for now, do not plan to go anywhere far away over the 4th of July. Just expect that your husband is going to be out in Yakima through that long weekend, and if he's not, be pleasantly surprised and maybe make a tentative plan to go somewhere fun, but not like Hawaii, Florida, go visit family in California. Just plan to do some fun around here in Washington, and hope that this thing falls off at the last minute. This FRG potluck would be a great time to introduce the new FRG leader. I know Adam will get someone tied in earlier than that, but the whole family won't really be home. We'll do change of command and we'll do inventories and all that stuff, but the moment we change command, your husbands go out to Yakima. So this will be the first time that all of the husbands and wives are back together for their FRG meeting. Finally, that takes us to opportunity leave at the end of July, beginning of August. You can see tentatively, again, a black dashed box saying 29 July to 13 August. Those are the dates that the squadron commander, Colonel Aaron Dixon, has given to us. However, he did not say, yeah, go buy plane tickets. As soon as he does give that okay, I promise you we'll tell you. If you're going to purchase plane tickets now to get them at a cheaper price, they need to be cheap enough to get trip insurance. So if it's substantially cheaper and it's going to still be cheaper even with the trip insurance, then by all means go for it. But do not expect at this point that those are the absolutely rock solid dates. We sure hope they are and they're good for planning, but I would not buy tickets against them. Finally, here's just a list of things to do. Obviously the February ones are over, the March ones are coming up quick, but you've got 8 to 10 things to do there in April and May that you can take your kids to, or work out for and go do mud run. So I'm really sorry about that. I got a phone call in the middle of this thing, but hey, at least you know it's being done live. Anyway, like I said, April, May, you got stuff you can take the kids to. Look them up. Just punch these names into the JBLM website search function, and I'm sure something will pop up. Finally, same thing. These ones are being pushed mainly because no one goes to them. So these MWR happenings, arts and crafts classes in February through March, these are things that people don't traditionally do, and if you don't go to them, they're going to lose their funding. So if you see something on this page that you really want to do, then by all means go have at it, and it might survive another month. But this is basically a list of things that are money sinks, and unless you're really interested in framing or doing glass mosaics or wood pallet photo holders, then these programs are going to go away, because right now they're paying somebody to teach these classes and get all the pieces together for things that aren't being used. So if you want them to survive, then you better go to them soon. And that's that. If you have any questions, absolutely post them as a YouTube question, as a comment, or email either of us, caleb.j.sheffield.mil@mail.mil, or hit up Rachel at crazyhorsetroop114@gmail.com. And if you want Rachel's phone number, she's more than happy to text at any time. She just doesn't want to post her number on the internet, and I don't really want her getting some kind of crazy spam text messages from crazy people on the internet. So just email her at this and say who you are and who your spouse is, and she'll happily send you a text message and answer any questions you may have. Alright, so I hope this video is helpful, and I'm sorry for all the bad news that will take us away, but just make sure that you are a point of strength for your spouse and not a point of stress. Just be there for them and make sure that they're there for you, and we'll all get through this together. Alright, we love you guys and hope you're doing great.